Okay, let's dive into this. Have you ever noticed the exact incredibly satisfying sound an AirPods case makes when it snaps shut? Or, that precise, almost agonizingly slow resistance you feel when you lift the lid off a brand new iPhone box? Well, today, in this explainer, we're unpacking the premium alchemy of Apple design. We're going to look at the deliberate, highly calculated choices that go into making these devices feel like absolute luxury items. Because whether you're a dedicated, day one fan who pre-orders literally everything, or a skeptical observer who's just wondering what all the hype is about, the product design at play here is a masterclass in consumer psychology. It is a symphony of engineering designed to do one very specific thing: elevate the perceived value of glass, metal, and silicon.
So, why do Apple products feel so premium, even before you turn them on? It's a genuinely fascinating mystery when you really stop and think about it. Usually, when you buy a new laptop or a smartphone from a standard tech company, the magic is entirely software dependent, right? It's supposed to happen when the screen finally lights up, the logo flashes, and you see what the hardware can actually do. But Apple shifts that entire timeline backward. The premium experience doesn't start with the operating system. It's designed to begin way before that power button is ever pressed. They've essentially figured out how to engineer anticipation, transforming a simple electronic purchase into a psychological event that commands your full attention.
Now, it's incredibly tempting to just look at the premium price tag and say, well, it costs more, so my brain naturally tricks me into thinking it's worth more. The old, you get what you pay for bias. But it's not just the price. What's really interesting about this is that we're looking at a very intentional alchemy of design. And when we say alchemy, we mean the meticulous blending of sensory inputs to create a reaction. Consumers are willing to pay a premium not simply for the raw materials, the microchips, the lithium batteries, or the OLED screens, but for the specific feelings that are engineered into every single aspect of the product. It's an experience designed from the ground up to make you feel a sense of prestige, quality, and reliability. They aren't just selling you a tool, they are selling you a heavily curated emotional response.
Section 1. The Unboxing Experience. The Peak Anticipation.
Let's break down exactly how they pull off that peak anticipation, starting right at the beginning of the user journey. Because this is a completely choreographed event. Step 1, the packaging. This isn't just cardboard, folks. Apple literally has a dedicated packaging room where engineers test the precise friction of box lids. No, really. They calculate the drag so that it takes exactly a few agonizingly perfect seconds for the bottom to slide out. This creates a microdose of adrenaline and builds intense suspense. Then we hit step 2, the reveal. The device is presented almost like a piece of fine jewelry. You won't see any distracting cables or thick manuals. Those are all hidden away beneath a perfectly fitted pedestal. The focus is entirely on the pristine device. And finally, step 3, first touch. Before it's even turned on, the cool, brushed metal and seamless glass signal high-end, durable quality straight to your hands. This whole sequence sets the psychological baseline for a premium relationship with the device right out of the gate. Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 2, minimalism and tactile sounds, sensory interactions. Once the device is out of the box and in your pocket, the way you physically interact with it continues that psychological engineering. This is all driven by marketing psychology, which is the strategic use of sensory and product design elements to evoke feelings and justify a premium value. Every design choice has a psychological weight. Consider the minimalist curves and the aggressive removal of physical buttons over the years. It creates a seamless, futuristic slab of glass that just feels infinitely more sophisticated than a cluttered plastic keyboard. And then there are the tactile sounds, the highly satisfying click of a magnetic case snapping flawlessly onto the back of a phone, or that customized, rich lock screen sound. These absolutely aren't accidents. They're deeply rooted auditory cues meant to reinforce the solidity and craftsmanship of the hardware, making it feel fundamentally more premium than competing brands on the market. And this brilliantly illustrates the premium arsenal. It starts with the unboxing suspense, transitions into the minimalist design you hold in your hand, the smooth software you navigate, the satisfying sounds you hear, and the broader ecosystem you inevitably join. None of these elements exist in isolation. They're constantly overlapping and reinforcing each other. The physical weight of the phone validates the crispness of the software, and the software makes the sleek hardware feel responsive and alive. It's a closed-loop system of high perceived value. They're all working together simultaneously to justify exactly why people are so willing to pay a higher price point. You aren't just buying one of these isolated features, you're buying the whole shebang. Section 3. Software and the ecosystem, the invisible web. The physical hardware and the beautiful box it comes in, that's really only half the story. Smooth software and the broader ecosystem are what actually retain you. Once that new gadget high wears off, it's the invisible web connecting your devices that keeps that premium feeling alive day in and day out. Think about the real-world utility here, copying a block of text on your iPhone and instantly pasting it onto your Mac without pressing a single button. Or using AirDrop to fling high-resolution videos across the room in seconds, creating this exclusive, high-speed walled garden. It's an environment designed to be so incredibly frictionless and seamless that the mere thought of leaving it for a competitor feels like a massive, frustrating downgrade. The ecosystem constantly reminds you of that initial premium value every single time you use it.
Section 4. Branding or genuinely better? The ultimate question.
So the crucial point is addressing the core debate posed by our source material. Is it mostly branding, or are these products genuinely better? Let's look at this impartially. On one hand, so much of this premium alchemy is rooted in the illusion of luxury. The meticulously engineered packaging friction, the heavy boxes, the manufactured tactile clicks. You could strongly argue it's just brilliant manipulative marketing psychology designed to make you part with your money. It's essentially psychological wrapping paper. But on the flip side, there's a very strong case that the technology itself is functionally and genuinely superior. We're talking about industry-leading, proprietary silicon chips, hardware that lasts for years without degrading in physical quality, and an unmatched seamless cross-device syncing experience that competitors still frankly struggle to replicate. It's a fascinating tug-of-war between psychological branding and undeniable technological prowess.
So, I'll leave you with this. The next time you unbox a new device, listen for that satisfying click and ask yourself, are these products genuinely better, or have you just fallen for the greatest branding psychology of our time? It's a question that gets right to the heart of how we interact with the technology that dominates our modern lives. Thanks for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning the design around you, and I'll catch you next time.